Yes, everybody, and welcome back to another Daily Drop brought to you by TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm Jacob Turner. He's Andrew Jones. And AJ, we're here for a UNC football-related drop, and we're just going to do a quick primer and look ahead to Carolina's spring football practice, which kicks off on March 4th. Michael Lombardi earlier this week kind of released the spring practice schedule. I'll pop that graphic on the screen right now. 15 practices again, starting on March 4th and ending on April 12th. And before we dive into it, AJ, real quickly, housekeeping items we always hit on. We are trying to reach a few milestones. 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're getting close to 19 right now. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. 12,000 on Facebook, which we are well on our way to. We've been growing like crazy over there with AJ and Kim in particular, his wife, just pumping out reels. She's been absolutely fantastic at that. And then we're also trying to hit 40K on Twitter. So that was going a little bit slower. So tell your friends about us. Links in the description below to Facebook and Twitter. And all you have to do is hit subscribe and the notification bell below, and that'll help us reach that 20K mark over there. So we're well on our way, but I'm hoping we can hit it maybe, especially YouTube. I think we can hit that in the next couple and maybe in the next month or so, especially if Carolina basketball keeps playing well and keeps winning. And Facebook, I think Facebook will be there very, very soon. So
Twitter, we need Carolina to go on a run in basketball. Keep people. Although portal stuff is great for us.
Yeah.
Let's get the 40. True. Come on.
Yeah.
Get the 40. If you haven't followed us on Twitter, just do so. I want that number 40 up there. Mm-hmm. Plus, I want to give away free THI. Yeah. We hit these things. I'm going to give it away, man. Mm-hmm. Bring in the house and give it away. So
like Oprah in here, just giving, you get a free THI.
And we just started on Facebook anyway, making a push like a year ago. And we just started doing reels. So we're kind of still in the early stages there, but I want to rake a rock. And if you're an Instagram person, we're actually posting on Instagram finally, but we're not pushing it. We're going to let that go organically for a while.
Yeah, we are. We're just trying some new things out. And again, big thank you to everybody who maybe has liked and followed us and subscribed. And if you haven't, again, go ahead and do it. All the links you need are in the description below. But AJ, I think the first thing we'll talk about, and this is going to be a quick drop, I promise. We just did an hour and 10-minute basketball show, and we and AJ have made a pact that this show is going to be about 15 minutes. So I'm going to challenge us to actually do that. I actually get some people in the comments joking sometimes about how I like to say that, and it goes too far. Yeah, I try to set a stall out for us early, and it's almost like a running joke at this point that we're going over it. So I'm just going to keep doing it until we actually hit that number.
If Jacob says 40, it's going for an hour and 10. If Jacob says 15, this drop. Well, we're already a couple of minutes in, and we haven't even said anything.
I know it's not helping us out at all.
So really what we'll do is, for the timing of it in everybody's mind, look at the clock. We'll look at the video now. We'll start right now. We'll try to go 15 minutes.
Yeah, we'll start it right now. See if we can keep it.
Which will take us to 18.
Yeah, of course.
And you get 2 ramblings from me, and we're at 22.
It's easy to do, man. Time flies when you're having fun on these podcasts.
I'm all about rambling.
I'll tell you that for free. But since the clock has officially started, let's dive into this thing, man. Again, 15 practices, and it remains to be seen what kind of access we might get in there. I know it came out. We're recording this on Wednesday evening. It came out on Tuesday, I believe, that just to kind of show how college football coaches work and how college football in particular with the portal and, all this stuff that goes on now with stealing players and all this jazz is changing. I know State announced they're not going to have any access to the public for spring practice, which is interesting. Remains to be seen what kind of access Carolina is going to give for spring practice. And, that it is important that we get some, because we are trying to figure out what this team's going to look like and what the program's going to look like and how Belichick's going to be as a coach, and, how does the staff work together and what are they doing? There's so many things that you can learn from spring practice, which is why, Mac giving us the access he did was so, incredibly beneficial for us, because it, as you've said many times, it means we can actually knock on the front door and someone answers it, instead of knocking on the front door and not get an answer and having to find another way into the house, if that makes sense. So it's a lot easier when you can just go straight in the front door. But it's a very intriguing spring practice, and one that, one of the most intriguing Carolina's had in years because of what it represents under year one in Bill Belichick, and Carolina kind of stepping into this new age where they've got a general manager and they've got a much larger staff, and they're recruiting the heck out of the state of California, which was not on my, agenda for 2025 and what might happen. So it is important that we're able to kind of get in there and learn about this team. But AJ, what are your thoughts on kind of the spring practice schedule being announced? And, what can you tell us about what access we might be able to get? Because again, I think when people say access, they think, well, we don't really care about that. But the more access we get, the more we can report to you and the more we can hop on podcasts and talk to fans about what we're seeing and hearing. So it does, kind of have a trickle down effect besides us just wanting to see what the team looks like.
Yeah. The people that say, well, why do we pay for you? We can get it for free elsewhere. Where do you think they get it?
Yeah. Come on.
It's the few media that actually shows up to everything and gets invited to some things. So the access that we get, it's not about pounding our chests or anything like that. We are liaisons between the program and the fans. And I think access is more important now than ever before, because never before have programs actually asked the fans to be owners like they are now. They literally are, because every coach in the country wants Joe Schmo, who makes $45,000 or $75,000 a year, to fork over cash so that coach could go buy players to make his record better so he can keep his multi-million-dollar job. So they're asking you to help them buy players. So I think instead of giving you less, they should give you at least the same or more. But they're giving fans less. Nebraska, Southern Cal, Texas, now NC State, their fans are getting less, but they're being asked for more. And so we're the ones that give them that. The homogenized crap that comes from the school, I'm not saying say crap, I apologize. The stuff the schools produce, a lot of it's very good, but there's a Kim Jong-un thing there, right?
Yeah, I always say the North Korea comparison because GoHeels.com is never going to criticize
Turn your camera off when you're on the train going through this rice village, right?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to get that and put it out to the world. Same thing. But when we're there, we can put stuff out there. It's important that the various media outlets get pictures of Bill Belichick and Carolina stuff on the practice field coaching the team. That image is needed because the images they've had of him the last few months are not of that. They're of other things. Yeah. And those things have taken on a whole different life and narrative. The narrative needs to go back to him being the football coach. That's why he's there. So they need to have the media there. Plus, we can more accurately report and generate discourse and excitement with fans. Now, what do I expect the next month or so with football? I don't know yet. I have regularly talked to the program about access, trying to not be so pushy, trying to encourage that we get more access, because I just want to do my job when it comes down to it. Personally, selfishly, I just want to do my job. And that's why I want the access, because I want to learn as much as I can. So when I come on here and do these podcasts, I can be as reputable as possible. And the more information access I have, the better. Now, we're not going to get into every practice, but I'd like to see a couple. I'd like to have player interviews. I'd like to get Belichick a few times. I think the fans do. And that would help us be able to say, okay, here's what we want to see out of spring practice. Right now, I can tell you what I think is important for spring practice. Whether or not we'll have any connection to it, I have no idea. But this is an extremely important spring practice, maybe the most important ever for North Carolina football. And I can illustrate reasons why in a moment, but the access stuff is going to be what it is. And who knows, quite frankly, maybe Carolina will be wise after Dave Doran made his announcement, say, you know what? Come on, cameras. He's shutting you out. We're bringing you in. So start winning that battle now. That would be kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, when you think about just the national media attention that Belichick being rumored to be interested in the Carolina job before he even took the job registered, I mean, that played a big factor in that played a factor in Carolina kind of pursuing it harder than they did. I mean, there's just so much attention. I don't know why you wouldn't open it up, at least some of it, because you're going to get a lot of media there. And it's a lot of media besides just us who cover the team all the time. You get media who know nothing about Chapel Hill and probably never been to Chapel Hill trying to get into some of this stuff. So it all helps, you know what I mean?
The value, the actual value of the attention they'll get from spring practice, probably you can't even really measure what it might be, but it certainly would be in tens of millions of dollars of value, because everything that comes out of spring will be reported and it will be nationwide. When they have their first practice next Tuesday, even though it won't be open, I know it won't be open because it's the same day the main media has to go to Blacksburg for basketball. It will still be an ESPN story. Bill Belichick had his first practice at North Carolina, first normal practice. That's news right there. It's not news that Dave Doran had his first practice. It is to the NC State base, but it's not news outside that. It's not news that Dabo did. It's not news that Ryan Day and Ohio State did, except there. Maybe the defending national champs had a practice. A little bit of news. Belichick's different. It's a different animal. It's a different storyline. Everything he does is a national story. So why not cash in on it? Yeah. And they have a lot of new players for fans to get to know and support. And it'd be really cool if we have opportunities to talk to some of those guys to get their story. And also the current players that are coming back. What's it like playing for Belichick? What's it like with the staff? Who's your position coach? They haven't even released the coaching staff yet.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
There's a who gives an SHIQ big time coming out of that program right now. But at some point, they're going to have to. And taking the field next Tuesday is a time when they're going to have to some extent.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how they go about it. I appreciate and embrace anything that we get. But the stories that I'll look for, Jacob, are going to be a lot about him and him coaching in college and what that's like for him. When he's walking out on the practice field and he sees drills going on, he's going to see 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds doing drills, not 23, 26, 28-year-olds who are established pros, who are self-policing guys. He's going to have to adjust how he looks at what he's looking at. That, to me, is going to be one of the most fascinating things about the spring is what he learns that he needs to look at and how he needs to balance what he sees versus what he saw as an NFL coach. And I think that's going to be a really, really cool story. Mm-hmm. And the quicker he adapts and finds where his eyes need to be and how he needs to process things, the better the program will be, the better the team will be, because he'll be a better college coach. He has to become a college coach now. He's a football coach, but he needs to become a college football coach, and that's what will take part this spring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's funny because when I came to this drop, I was like, well, let's talk about some of the things we're going to be looking for, which you talked about a little bit there. But the more I sit here and think about it, what aren't we going to be looking for? I mean, again, we've had limited access. We haven't talked to Belichick since he was hired, besides what, the only thing we've heard from him is what Carolina's put out, through, the podcast they did with Jones Angell and Adam Lucas and other stuff like that, his interviews on the Pat McAfee show. We haven't been in directly to talk to him, but when you focus on the team specifically, because I know the chatter is a lot about Belichick, but he, football is the product and the team he's coaching, and there is players on that team and a lot of new faces and a lot of new guys. And, I was sitting here and saying, man, we're going to be looking out for everything. And that's why access is so important. Who's, quarterback position, still some of this up in the air a little bit. What does that look like during drills? How do those guys look like they're, developing and whatnot? Every position group across the whole team, in my opinion, kind of has that, because you have this new staff. We don't even know who some of the position coaches are because they haven't been announced yet. You have so many new things in there that things will be different than they were under Mac. Drills will look different, I'm sure. What practices or structure will look different too. But with that is the storylines that we always talk about during spring. AJ, how's this guy developing? What did this guy do in the offseason? Who's running with the ones in this position group? How does this unit look? All these things are going to be things that we're going to be looking for. So I envisioned this podcast and was being like, well, what are we going to look at? We're going to be looking at everything, because everything is kind of up in the air right now, especially under a new staff that we just have had very limited, conversations and, contact with.
We also don't know when in the day is practice going to be.
Oh, we have no clue.
All the coaches before Mac Part 2 had it in the afternoon.
Yeah, is this
Mac
one in the morning?
Yeah, I think the morning works better for everybody. The players like morning a lot better because they can be much more structured in their day. And I don't know what Belichick likes. Mm-hmm. He can't, it's not NFL. You can't just have it like a 10 because guys got to go to class. So we don't even know that. Maybe he moves things around. Maybe he has a couple of night practices during the spring. We don't know. That's what's going to be so fun and fascinating, is all the newness here with a guy who's 72 and has all the experience he does, and yet there's a lot of newness. So if we get access to him, I look forward to getting a feel for him going through the process and the things he tells us that he's not asked. What does he offer that wasn't extracted?
Yeah.
Where does he go with certain questions? And when he's asked about position groups that might be suspect, how transparent is he?
Yeah.
Or is he not transparent? Is he a guy who protects players? Is he a guy that uses the media to get at to motivate players? I want to know what the offensive line like. They brought out a lot of offensive linemen and some pretty obscure ones too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what William Boone from Prairie View? What does he look like on the practice field? And is he a guy that actually could help? How about the guy from Holy Cross? How about the DB they brought in from Minnesota who was excited and told us, hey, man, I get to be on the special teams too. I mean, he played a ton at Minnesota, but he clearly sees something different in why he wanted to go to North Carolina. He wasn't getting a big NIL paycheck. There was a Belichick connection there. Hopefully we get a chance to talk to him and see how that's playing out. So there are a gazillion storylines. That spring is only a snapshot of the time frame in which we can attack these storylines, but there are a gazillion, and I don't think there'll be I don't think we'll be repeating ourselves a whole lot with the written content if we have regular access this spring. If we don't, we're just going to have to suppose and see how things go. I hope we have it, just because I want people to know as much as they can know, especially the people that are being asked to fund the program. And I would love to see Belichick step up and be different than everybody said he was going to be. Sort of a take that. Now, he has lived up to the reputation so far because we haven't talked to him.
Yeah.
But there hadn't been football. Now there's football. Does he talk to us? Does he say a lot? Does he stand over in that same spot after practice and give us 25 minutes like Mac did? Or does he take 6 questions and then walk off? We don't know. It's all going to be fascinating. It's all going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. And I imagine the fans have some of the same things that they're interested in as well and want to see. They want to learn one or the other. He's either going to do a lot, he's not going to do any, or is it in between?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big spring practice coming, and obviously an exciting one too, because it's the beginning of a new and unprecedented era at Carolina football. So looking forward to covering it, and looking forward to seeing how that access unfolds and what we're able to learn about this team during the spring. But hopefully we're able to learn a lot, because if we learn a lot, guys, you're going to learn a lot too. But absolutely. I think that's a good place to wrap this up. I don't know if I think we may have hit 15 minutes. I think we did.
I don't know, but and we're not going specifics on position groups or anything like that, because we're going to wait and see how things unfold.
Yeah, we got to see how things play out.
Plenty of time for that.
Yeah.
But we wanted to hit on this, and hopefully in the next couple of days we'll have more information about some specifics with respect to access and everything else. I know I'm trying, and I promised somebody last night that I will back off, and I am understanding and empathetic of their situation, and just hope and pray that we get enough access so we can do a good job delivering you guys the goods.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said, man. Well said. I've been Jacob Turner. He's been Andrew Jones. Quick edition of our Daily Drop series. Make sure you like the video below. Like it below if you're excited about football season coming up and you're excited about spring practice starting. I think we should get a lot of likes on this video, because I know there's a lot of Carolina fans out there that are super excited about the Bill Belichick era in Chapel Hill. Head on over to Facebook. Head on over to Twitter. Links in the description below. It takes a few seconds and it helps us out big time. And as well, make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell below as well. Thanks for watching as always, guys, and we will see y'all next time.
Thanks.